but we can get started.
Sounds good. Let's do it. I just kicked off the recording.
All right. Today is Wednesday, December 19th, and this is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. Running down into our remaining 113 tasks. We have almost all the sidecars ready. So 1.01 has been pushed for everything except the node driver registrar and cluster driver registrar still have some outdated RBAC and documentation files. So we will need to, since we've already released a 1.0.1, we'll need to update the stuff and release a 1.0.2 later. As far as the image is concerned, the image works. It's just the corresponding RBAC specs and documentation doesn't make any sense.
What's missing in the R? Because I'm still messing around with the host path, depending on this. What's missing in the RBAC?
So for node driver registrar, it doesn't need any RBACs at all because it's now that it uses the new plugin registration, it doesn't need to modify any Kubernetes objects. So like that whole RBAC, I think, can be removed, and we can remove all that logic for the old registration.
Okay, so node doesn't need.
And then that's correct. Node doesn't need any RBACs at all. And for the cluster driver registrar, we need to update the RBACs to give permissions to modify the CSI driver object.
Right, and that's where I'm stuck in right now.
Yeah. So actually, well, currently today host path doesn't use the cluster driver registrar.
Right. You're okay. I wanted to put it in there just to have a complete example.
Yes, I think it
just turn off.
Yeah, I think it would be good to add it there for completeness, but it's not strictly required right now.
Right.
But actually,
and the problem I'm running into is because I'm depending on because it's part of the stateful set for the controller. The RBAC for the controller is missing the rights to access the API object that you just mentioned earlier. So I'm trying to figure out how to get around that.
Yeah, and actually, I think Fatih on the on our Slack channel, he actually posted like I think he posted all the RBACs and stuff for the cluster driver registrar.
Yes, he did. He did, and he has a separate RBAC, a standalone RBAC that I'm guessing his controller and the cluster driver registrar shares, and that would work. But because the way we're doing the documentation for the host path, I'm pointing to the RBAC for the attacher directly, just pulling it. So that's missing it's missing the rights that's needed.
I see.
I'm trying to figure out
actually,
if I should recreate it.
Yeah, maybe for now, until we can fix this cluster driver registrar stuff, just leave it out. We can add it to the host path once we fix up the RBACs and the documentation properly.
Who's working on cleaning it up?
I agree.
So I assign Hamant to work on the cluster driver registrar cleanup. I think he said he's pretty busy with a fire right now, so he's not going to have time to look at it, at least this week.
Okay.
I also asked, Fatih had added the examples on the Slack channel. I asked him if it would be possible for him to also send a PR to add it. So we'll see if he responds.
And if neither of those guys respond, once I remove that the cluster registrar out of host path, I had already gotten it working. I can concentrate on finalizing this and then jump on the cleanup for
Okay.
the other two things.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
If neither of these two guys are able to get to it, then yeah, that would be awesome. And for the node
Okay.
driver registrar stuff, I've asked Jose to take a look at it, but I also asked Jose to do all the secret stuff. So I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to get to this either, at least this week.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll see what I can do this week. Definitely host path will be ready and with some documentation and a script to stand up the entire host path. And then I'll look at the node and the cluster driver registrar to see what I can do there as far as cleanup and documentation as well.
All right, thanks. Let me I'll just put your name down here as the backup.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right. Everything else has been updated. Next is the secret logging stuff. So I'm syncing up with Jose on updating all the sidecars. He said he should be able to get it done by this week, so I will double check with him on that. All right. Let's see. Saad cherry picked the change, so I think we're done with these flaky tests for now. So that's great. We're done splitting up the driver registrar into 2 repos, and we've put a deprecation notice on the old repo. And then
question about that. Did the issues get transferred over?
Maybe not. Okay. Maybe not. Let me add one more note. Transfer all the issues from to the
Is that possible?
Close out the old ones and point to the new ones to say this has been moved to.
It's not an automatic thing. It's a very manual process.
That's what I imagine.
Oh, okay.
Let me get rid of this. All right. It looks like Luis is probably out for the holiday. I can see if I have time to do.
It's not a huge priority. If we get to it, great.
Okay, we'll do it eventually.
Yeah.
All right, and then syncing up the host path driver with the E2Es. Vlad, you have a PR out. Is it ready for review?
That's the PR I was just talking about. That PR is moving, basically moving the host path from the shared monorepo to its own standalone. And I just went ahead and did everything. I'm doing everything, including adding a script to stand up a host path. And then after the call, I'm going to update the README documentation in that repo. And that should be it. And the syncing with the E2E happens in the script. It points to pretty much the same resources that the E2E tests use, including the API objects definition and the RBAC definition for external for the external components. So that's working. Once I go back and remove the cluster API definition, I should be good, and then we can address the service account rule or the RBAC rule for that would allow it to create the CSI driver object that we just discussed.
Okay, awesome. So you're splitting this up into 2 PRs, or is it all in 1 PR?
No, it's going to be 1 PR. I just split the commits into a couple PR. So I'm just going to keep splitting the submit so it's easier to review. I didn't want to go
I
in,
see.
and since I've gotten so far into it, I did in one PR.
Okay. It looks like Patrick just reviewed it yesterday. He had a suggestion on how to move the code and still retain the history.
Okay, that would be good.
So yeah, you can take a look at that. And then just ping Saad and I whenever it's ready.
Okay, I will do that.
Awesome. Thank you. Next is updating the E2E host path ones to use Quay images. I just approved the PR, so that should be going in soon. Similarly, let's see, we should update the GCP driver to use the new images. What was in the new images that we want? Was it just the secret logging stuff? Because we already updated the GCE driver to use 1.0.0. Do we need to update it to use 1.0.1?
Which comment are you looking at?
So Patrick updated the host path driver to use the latest Quay 1.0.1 images.
Okay.
I'm wondering if we need to do something similar for the PD driver to update to use 1.0.1.
Oh yeah. Probably should remain at the latest release.
Yeah. Okay.
Regardless.
Maybe we can. Is David still around today?
Yes, he is.
Okay, I can ask David to update.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Update PD E2E to use 1.0.1 or yeah. We already updated our out of tree test to use the latest stuff, but not the in trees. Okay. Let me ping David on this. All right, and lastly, we have our documentation. Saad, are you able to make progress on this?
Work in progress. This is my holiday project, so stay tuned.
Okay.
Lots of work.
All right, and let us know if there's anything.
If anybody is free, what I want to do is create a bunch of PRs for each of the repos. Basically, extend the README section to add a section that documents how to use that specific binary. So, for example, external provisioner, document what the flags are, how you use them, how it's used, why it's important, that kind of thing. So if anybody has free cycles, let me know. Otherwise, I will tackle that.
All right, cool.
That's what I plan to add to the host path. So host path will definitely have it.
Okay, perfect. Yep. If anybody else wants to volunteer, just ping me offline and I'll get you started there.
All right, cool. I think we're pretty low on people for the next 2 weeks or so, but
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I'll be here and I can review everything. So
perfect. Thank you.
All right. Now jumping up to miscellaneous topics. I guess we talked about this last time, and I think this is resolved. We have a plan, so I'm going to remove this. This is also, well, it's not really resolved, but it's in progress. Vlad, were you able to sync up with Travis on his progress?
Oh, yes, I did. I forgot to update the section here. Yes, so pretty much progress has been slowed down because I think he had another task he was working on right before KubeCon. But he said he's going to jump back into it to put it in a reviewable state and get ready for the next quarter. So definitely, he's still active basically.
Okay, great, sounds good.
So
just wanted to make sure that he's still planning on working on this, so that we don't need to find someone else to work on it.
Yes, he is he planning to work on it. I think last I talked to him, he said he's gonna probably over the break kind of get back into it to put it in a shape where it can continue for the next quarter. So
okay, sounds good. Yeah, and also just a heads up, I'm making a bug fix which is going to impact his work too, because I'm going to be moving around a few functions here and there.
All right.
So,
he'll find out when he has a bunch of conflicts.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds
All
good.
right.
Thank you. Let's see. I think this is still, we can remove this. And I think that we all agree that this is the way that we want to go with the documentation. So nothing new to discuss there. All right. Xing, you had an item on Snapshot E2Es.
Yeah, I just want to see the status because so we have this PR there for quite a while. And then I think Patrick is doing he has been doing some work in this area. So I think the Snapshot PR is dependent on 2 of his PRs. I'm just wondering what is the status of his PRs, and because we are kind of blocked.
Okay, yeah. So I asked Chang to review Patrick's PRs. I can sync up with Chang on how it's doing and if there's still outstanding comments. For now, like if you're dependent on the PRs, can you temporarily pull those into your branch and rebase off of Patrick's PRs?
Okay, how to
like
take
that?
A look of that?
Yeah, like I think you can basically just pull Patrick's branch into your own branch and cherry pick his changes into the branch. Then you can rebase off of his changes and kind of start making progress again.
Okay, I'll take a look of his PRs.
Or I guess I don't know this person's name, but you can ask this person to do that.
Yeah, he's my coworker. Yeah, I think he.
Oh,
worked
okay.
with him. Yeah, I think he got frustrated because I keep rebasing. Just when it's going to end.
We had so many changes at the end of 1.13, so yeah. All right. Let's see. Next. Okay, so here maybe my suggestion is to temporarily pull Patrick's PRs into the branch and rebase off of that. Okay. Next item. So I saw this bug update. It looks like someone's hitting the recursive scanning issue from the plugin watcher in 1.12, because I think that's when plugin watcher went beta. So we should probably consider some fix for 1.12.
Maybe backport the fix.
I'm guessing probably. So like did we do so for 1.13 we created a new directory and used that as the registration directory, but did we limit the recursive depth on the old directories?
On the old directory, we ended up just blacklisting the Kubernetes IO subdirectory because that was the problematic one, and that eliminated the problem.
Okay, so I think, all right, if we can backport that blacklisting section to 1.12, I think that would be good. I think this person's bug report says, it's basically getting into their
Kubernetes
EBS volumes.
Yeah. Okay.
And
that should be done. Let's take a. If anybody's free over the holidays, feel free to take a look at it. Otherwise, I can take a look after the holidays. But let's keep an eye on it.
Sure, sounds good. All right, and then the last item I have is so there are reconstruction tests where it restarts kubelet, and they seem to be flaking a lot more for CSI. than the in-tree drivers. So I asked Jing to take a look at this, and so far her investigation has found that it seems like after kubelet restarts, the drivers don't get registered again sometimes. So she will be investigating more.
This
and
is on 1.13?
This is on main.
Okay.
I don't know if it's also on 113 too, but I asked her to open an issue for this. Okay. So I think if we take a look at
I wonder if we need all of that reconstruction logic even existing with one CSI, because CSI has its own way of doing reconstruction. It stores a file.
Yeah. So I wonder if there's some funny incompatibility issue with that or something. Awesome. So all the test, what the test does is it creates a pod with a volume, and then it restarts kubelet, and then it deletes the pod, and then it makes sure that the volume mount directories are cleaned up.
Okay.
So I think that should be working regardless of whatever reconstruction mechanism we use.
Yeah, but I guess if her observation is that the driver doesn't get re-registered, even if the reconstruction logic is doing the right thing, discovering that this thing exists and calling the driver to unmount it, if the driver doesn't exist, then you're out of luck.
Yeah, but I mean if the driver doesn't exist, I mean, isn't that a problem? If kubelet restarts and then
I mean, we need to figure out why the driver doesn't exist. Sounds like a registration issue. In this vein, there was also another PR somebody sent out a few days ago for reconstruction, where this orphaned pod scanner, instead of just like warning when it finds a mounted directory that it is orphaned, it will actually try to unmount it. So isn't that what?
Okay, isn't that what reconstruction is supposed to do?
That is what reconstruction is supposed to do. But reconstruction allows
scans all the directories.
Right. It scans all the directories. It reconstructs those volumes and lets the plugin handle the unmount.
I thought in 112 or something, or 111, Jing added some logic to just always try unmounting without the driver.
I see.
Or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, we can discuss with Jing and see what she thinks.
I signed her on that PR. Just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. So I think regarding 113, why is my Chrome so slow? 113. Where can I find 113? 113 all. No? What's wrong with my internet? Okay, 113. This is a serial test. Looks like, it looks like it's flaking on 113 too.
Which test is this?
Subpath should unmount if pod is force deleted.
Oh, this is reconstruction stuff?
When kubelet restarts.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. It looks like it's flaking on 113 as well. So,
can you do a super compact view and see if it was more recent or if it's always been like this?
Let's see. Do you know how to...
click Options.
Options.
And then click, Size. Click the Size drop-down.
Super compact.
And we don't have history that far back.
Great.
Okay. But it looks like it's been flaky for a while. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's both the, let's see, PD CSI driver, and do I see the host path driver here too? No. It looks like it doesn't flake as much for host path. That's weird. Anyway, for master, it's definitely flaking both for host path and PD driver.
There's going to
pretty.
be a lot of fun bugs in this area.
Yeah.
Construction's always nasty.
Yep. All right. So I think that's all I have. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up?
So tomorrow we are going to have the Kubernetes SIG storage planning session. I wanted to make sure that the items that we need from this work group are represented there. So if you have a chance, could you pull up the 1.14 spreadsheet? And we can add items to make sure that anything that we want to work on is there.
All right, so let me put this right next to my agenda. All right, so under the agenda, I have our 114 planning. Move callers to V1 objects.
I don't know if I listed that. I think that might need to be added.
Yeah, does it really need to be a feature? It's
a task, and we need to track it as a task. Maybe it doesn't need a feature issue, but it should be tracked.
Yeah, I mean, we will be tracking it in this meeting at least.
Mm-hmm. I think everything that we track in this meeting at like a high level, we should just track on that spreadsheet. What I want to do.
Okay, so maybe I can call it. Oh, go ahead.
I want to just kind of spread out the workload to make sure that we are not bottlenecked on a handful of people. So
yes.
if we
have
everything in one spreadsheet, it's easier to see, that we're assigning too much stuff to one person or not.
Yeah. So I'm going to call it post GA or CSI post GA tasks.
API object. Maybe be a little bit more specific. Is there anything else other than API object handling?
I think that's the only post GA stuff. Or okay, maybe this read only thing.
Read only consider. Okay, that's fair. That's fine. So we can mention both of those in the comment or something.
And there's a bunch of refactoring cleanup stuff.
Okay. Refactor global state for CSI package, refactor CSI registration mechanism, remove plugin singleton. Okay. Move common code into CSI libutils. Okay, yeah, that's a good package of work for one person to focus on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, that work, I think it's mostly done. That's the work from the Pivotal. Those PRs. We just didn't have time to get them in.
What was the name of the person?
Hans, I believe. Yeah. So I worked with them to review some of those PRs. But I told him to hang on and let's move him to 114.
Okay. If he could attend the meeting tomorrow, maybe we can assign him, and then he can start attending the SIG storage meetings regularly, or the CSI meetings.
Okay.
I think Maria.
Right now.
Yeah, I think Maria also from the same team.
What's the other?
I think she attended this meeting a while back, and we basically said, "Oh, we're gonna focus on GA stuff right now," and then she disappeared after that.
Okay. So maybe we can pull them back in.
I'll tell them to try to attend tomorrow's if they're still around for the holiday.
Cool.
Okay. Let me also update this. I will say move callers to V1, refactoring cleanup, and also read-only stuff.
Yep.
So those are the three things that we're lumping as part of this item.
Yeah.
All right. And Vlad, I'm putting you down as a reviewer.
And could you put CSI entry as a prefix on that?
Okay.
Since that work is going to be entry.
All right. Okay. What do we have now? CSI Objects to beta.
Yeah, we need to do this. I don't know who's going to work on this, honestly, but let's put it there and we'll find assignees later.
Yeah. So I already added topology to beta.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to treat that as a different item or like a dependency.
Topology is going to require more than just moving the API to beta, right?
Yeah, we need to figure out the validation webhook story.
Okay. So let's leave that as a separate task.
Sure. Okay.
Because 2 different people can work on it.
Also, okay, I'll call it move alpha CRDs to beta.
Yep. Priority-wise, I think that remains a P2 for us, because if it doesn't get done, it doesn't block migration. It just means ephemeral volumes and like these skip attach and all these funny features.
And also topology.
Yes.
Topology. It needs to be in like it will block migration to beta, but not alpha of migration.
Okay, that's fair.
In terms of feature issues, I feel like the feature issues are actually the skip attach and the pod info features, and we don't need a feature actually for this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's see. I guess we should we separately call out the skip attach and the pod info features too. I think the only work left there is to get the E2E tests.
I think that's already being tracked as bug level work, unless we have feature level work as a bug, as an issue. Like adding
yeah.
So unless there's like actual feature level work that needs to be done, I would just not track it separately.
Okay. Well, I guess let's see.
I imagine whoever's going to be moving the RDs to beta is just going to update the feature flag as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's okay. But yeah, those tests are going to block this one, moving the CRDs to beta.
Okay. Maybe put that in a comment. Also requires, yep, that works.
Okay. The other thing about this is the deployment story for the add-ons.
Yes. Yes.
So once we go to beta, we need to update like at least all the deployment stuff that is used in CI, like kubeatom and cops.
Yep.
And other stuff. Otherwise, they're going to break.
Okay, that becomes a bigger item.
Yeah.
Do we want to track that separately or as the same?
I guess I'll just track it here.
Okay. Okay. Let's raise the priority of this to P1 because this seems like it's something that we need to get ahead of. If we put it off till beta, it's going to be or put it off to Q2.
Yeah.
And
also the like cops and kubeatom have their own release cycles and stuff.
Okay, so we need to align with those.
Yeah.
All right, fun.
Okay. Deployment tools need updated. Alpha features need E2Es. And then we need this topology stuff. Okay. Migration alpha, that should be here.
There. Yeah, that's number 2.
All right. Raw block beta, which is here. Inline volume alpha.
Number 3.
I think I saw that somewhere here. Is this one a P1?
It is for migration. So migration depends on it.
Okay. Snapshots.
Snapshots. What's the work there?
So snapshots, I just added like execution hook, quota, readiness gate. So those are the items we think are P0 or P1.
Okay.
And there are a bunch of other things, right? So
okay.
You have time to work on, but I just listed those two.
You listed this as beta?
Well, so this is for snapshot in general. It's still alpha right now, so we do have more drivers implemented it. So should we try to bring it to beta? What is the
I mean,
here's my thoughts on this. Right now, I want to focus on getting migration items out of the way as soon as possible so that we can start focusing on features more closely. And the problem is that migration has a very tight deadline. We need to get migration alpha in Q1, beta in Q2, and GA in Q3, and then in Q4 we can delete all the entry code for cloud providers. And then we can do the same thing for the other third-party external volume plugins. In order to do that, my highest priority is items that we need to unblock migration. Those should be the primary focus of the SIG for now, especially in Q1. And for now, I think that means items number 2, 3, 4, 5, basically all the things that we need to do to achieve feature parity with CSI and entry. Snapshots is additional functionality. I think we can continue working on it, but I would mark this as P2 and call it, leave it in alpha for the quarter.
I think that's the...
Oh, that's the wrong one.
The next
the
one,
below it.
Bro.
And then call it, leave it as alpha. And then in terms of your commitments this quarter, Shing, are you willing or able to kind of work on other items that the SIG might need to unblock migration, or would you only want to work on Snapshot?
Oh, I can help other items if there are other things that are more important. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we'll definitely have those items. If you look at this list, there's going to be a lot of P1s that we're going to need. And what I don't want to happen is all of the P1s get assigned to one person, because in reality, that's not going to get done. So what I want is a separate person that I trust, somebody like Shing, Vlad, so on and so forth, working on each one of the P1s. And it's the sole focus. It's like the main focus for that person for that quarter. And then that way we can ensure that we're landing the migration in time, we get the migration stuff out. I think we have a lot of work for migration in Q1, and then in Q2 there will be a little bit work, and then Q3 it will be less, so it'll taper off. And as the migration work begins to taper off, we can invest more in the feature work and start saying, okay, now that we've gotten rid of this entry code, now we can 100% start focusing on extending CSI and adding more features to it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can definitely help with some of those migration work.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
No problem.
All right. Let's see. We talked about read-only and refactoring, revamping our CI for all our sidecars. I think basically as we've seen this release, like building and pushing and releasing new sidecars is a big pain, and we should try to automate at least as much of it as we can.
Yeah. It seems reasonable. Go ahead and add it. Call it a P2.
Yeah. CSI.
Out of tree.
Automate. CI. Or automate sidecar release and test process. I don't know. We're running out of I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Split up drivers into individual repos.
Yeah, we still need to do that. And also a P2 or P3.
Okay.
And I think Vlad's already started on this for the most important one, which is host path. Maybe we can call it out as individual, like do this for iSCSI, do this for Fiber Channel, and then assign that to different people.
Okay.
So the question I do have about that, are the other than host path, is anybody else using the other example drivers? Should we invest?
Apparently people try to use it, and sometimes they're broken and we get complaints. So like I've heard that for NFS and iSCSI. So I think it's worth moving them in.
That's what I'm asking. Is it worth for us to be, especially like something like NFS or iSCSI, is it worth for us to do it since the community has had NFS offering? I'm not sure about iSCSI. In terms of CSI, should we just point to
I mean, is there a community offering? I thought the only community offering was the one that we created that lives in that shared repo right now.
For NFS or iSCSI?
For NFS.
I thought,
both, honestly.
I thought someone, I forgot who, someone told me.
There was one.
He tested it and trying to submit some bug fix. I forgot who that person was at KubeCon for the NFS.
Okay. I mean, if it's still worth maintaining them, sure, let's maintain them.
I mean, it's a good question to ask. We can ask it tomorrow at the meeting and see if folks do want it, because yes, I agree. The less things that our team has to maintain, the better. Ideally, we want the experts in these areas to maintain them. We now have these like mount libraries that we offer that people can use to build drivers. You can argue that that's all we need to provide and that putting the driver together is an exercise for the user. But some people may say, oh, we want a standard driver. It's a good conversation to have for the SIG.
Has John Griffith signed up for the iSCSI somehow? I thought maybe he's only working on the library part.
Library part.
Okay.
He finished the library part. He hasn't worked on the driver yet. We can ask him if he wants to. If he doesn't, then we can drop it and we can just delete the code in the repo.
Okay.
We can just ask the SIG. I honestly don't really have a strong opinion either way. One problem is that if we want to do migration for these in-tree versions of NFS, iSCSI, Fiber Channel, we're going to need something. So if that is a goal, then we're going to need to eventually get rid of this stuff as well.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I put it as a P3 for now.
That's fine.
It's questionable about the use of it, the usefulness. All right. I think we are starting to accumulate a lot of bugs in our sidecars. We should probably sit down and just do a bug scrub and see if what's worth fixing and what's worth not.
Okay.
That's all the items I had for 114.
Are there anything like the priority one, anything that you want to assign to me, or you want to discuss that tomorrow?
I see.
Sure. So
let me sort this.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can sort this and not blow up everything.
I think you need to create a
sort by column C.
Data has header row.
Did that work?
Yes.
Okay.
The migration engine, David's working on that. Implementation of inline. Vlad, how do you feel about picking that up as your big main project for next quarter?
Inline,
I think Sergey wasn't Sergey working on this one, or?
He was. I would like Vlad to lead it and maybe Sergey to help if he can.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of picked it up when so that I could focus on 113, but I think the understanding is that I'll be back in it and to drive it forward.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Cool.
Okay.
And we have there is a feature issue open for this already, right?
What was that? I'm sorry.
For inline?
There is a feature issue open for this?
I believe there is, yeah. It got punted.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Look for inline.
CSI. Here.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. This is okay.
596.
596. Oh, come on. What? All right. And okay.
All right. Next up is block volume support. I'm hoping Ben picks that up since he was very eager on helping drive it to beta this past quarter. So I think most of the work for that should already be done, and hopefully he's the person, but we can ask him.
Mm-hmm.
M. Kamira was also involved with this, so maybe one of them can help. Next up is resizing. Hamath is the natural owner of that. I'm okay with that. We'll ask him if he's okay with it. Next up is CSI driver lifecycle management. That one's unassigned. We'll need to find someone. Topology to beta. It sounds like Deep can pick that up, hopefully. Secure volumes. Design. We're going to need, I think, either Jing or Jing or Cheng are going to pick that up. We'll decide that. Scalability testing. This I think we'll figure out. CSI entry, move CRDs to beta. That one needs to be assigned. Okay, so Xing, between number 10 and number 6, are you interested in either of those?
Yeah, let's see. 10 is what, moving CRD to beta, and 6 is life cycle. I'm not sure what that is. Life cycle.
I think Jan might have a lot of context on this one with his operator.
Okay.
So I don't know. Jan might be a good fit here.
Okay, put Jan question mark there for now then.
He's not going to be at the meeting tomorrow, but
yeah.
Okay, I can help with that. The 10 then.
Number 10. Okay.
To beta.
Perfect.
That's the. So you are talking about like the CSI driver, the node info, those.
Yeah. So there's two
Okay.
CRD objects. One is called the CSI drivers object, and the second is called the CSI node info object. The CSI driver object is created by the sidecar container, which is cluster driver registrar.
Mm-hmm.
And it is used to kind of, one, advertise the fact that the CSI driver exists in this cluster. And two, it's also used to configure Kubernetes behavior for that driver. So right now it has two fields in it that allow you to, one, skip attach, and two, I forget what the second behavior was, but it allows you to do some custom configuration to say, hey, Kubernetes, I exist. Also, when you interact with me, do this stuff. Mm-hmm. The second CRD is the CSI node info object. And that is basically, we don't want to keep adding more and more things on the Kubernetes node object because CSI has so much information that it needs. So instead, what we did is made a separate node object which extends the main node object and call it a CSI node info object. And inside it, we have a list of all the drivers that registered themselves with Kubelet. And Kubelet is the one that creates this object or updates this object whenever a new driver is registered. And when a driver is unregistered, they remain in this list of drivers that exist, but instead of installed, they're marked as not installed. And then there's also some information. So I think that's there's information about the topology keys that is also stored in there per driver, along with the name of the node according to that driver. So basically, any node level information that that driver wants to store as a mapping between Kubernetes and the driver, it's stored in that CSI node info object. So there was work done in last quarter that made breaking changes on that CSI node info object between 1.12 and 1.13. Now I think we're in a good place where we want it, and we want to move both of these API objects to beta. We want to move the sub features to beta as well. And then the third part is the installation of these CRDs. Currently, last quarter, I added an add-on to automatically install this. We need to make sure that that add-on gets all the deployment mechanisms for Kubernetes, kubeadm, kops, whatever, are aware that this add-on exists, and they should enable it if they want CSI. So it's a fairly massive project. Definitely, if you are willing to work on it, I'm happy to help guide you through it. But it's going to be a big project.
Okay. Yeah. I can. Yeah, can work on that.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you down as reviewer.
Yeah, sounds good. Can we go through the P2s real quick just to make sure that there's nothing that should be higher pri? So per node volume attachment, I think 2 makes sense here. It is a dependency for migration, but if it doesn't happen in time for migration, it's not the end of the world, because what it means is, it's kind of minor. Volume
Makes
snapshotting.
sense.
I would even mark volume snapshotting as a P3 for this quarter. Xing, would that be okay?
Yeah.
Because I just want to, I want to bake in as it is, and then maybe work on the execution hook design, and that's it. Like, I don't want to invest too much effort in features this quarter. Next up is CSI Library, move mount library to external common repo. P2 is fine. I would maybe even call it a P3. That's okay. Pluggable.
It impacts moving. Well, I guess we can't delete the code yet, but that's fine. Okay.
Pluggable end-to-end framework. P2 seems fine here. Kubernetes conformance, P2 seems good. Local PV to GA, P2 seems good. Cleanup storage, feature gate handling. I don't know what that is.
So this was something that Jordan brought up last minute when we were trying to move block to beta. But like we basically are doing our feature gate checking all wrong for all our features.
Interesting.
So so basically the main thing is if you downgrade and disable a feature, you might end up in a state where you can't actually delete the pod object because validation fails if the feature gate is not set, but the field is set.
Interesting. Is there a best practice for how it should be handled?
Yes, Jordan has changed the documentation to establish like a new best practices.
Got it.
And this item is about going through, looking at all our previous storage feature gates and fixing it.
Okay, that seems good. Just put Jordan somewhere in that.
Was it just us doing it wrong? Or
no, just everybody.
Kubernetes has
just
okay.
Yeah. Jordan actually has an issue on this. Oh, I didn't link it here. But yeah, if we can get somebody from our side to this would be a good like beginner issue for some new person to take on, I think. But all right.
Because I think this came up when he was reviewing the inline stuff. So I just want to make sure that's same.
It has come up like every single feature. It was also because the documented best practices for adding new API fields and stuff was also suggesting the wrong way. So he just updated that documentation. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Non-recursive volume ownership. I imagine this is the fact that if you modify ownership, it ends up being the size of whatever.
So yeah, this is every time we mount, if FS group is set, we recursively chown all the directories and files.
And that takes forever.
So if after some time, if your volume grows and has tons of files, like it can take mount like 10 or 20 minutes to just complete. So this is about investigating ways we can eliminate that.
Seems reasonable.
I think Hamad might actually, yeah, so we'll see.
Revisiting UID, GID handling. I think security team offered to help us with this.
Okay.
SP2 seems.
So maybe I'll put
security team or Mike Denise. Yeah.
What was his?
I'm not sure.
I forgot his handle. Okay.
We can fill that in later.
Yeah, there's a long-standing. No, go ahead.
No, that was it.
Okay. Next item is volume health.
P2 or even P3 seems reasonable for it. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, let's leave it as P2 if either way is fine. CSI entry post GA tasks. So does this also capture that kubelet device plugin registration reconciler that we wanted to do?
Oh, I think David. Oh, does it?
I think that should be tracked as a separate item because it is very large.
Yeah.
I think
I wonder if
I talked to Jordan and David last week about this, and I think we both decided that it's not a requirement for migration, but that SIG storage should do it eventually. So I would mark the P2, P3, but we should probably track it.
Okay. Refactor driver registration to a reconciliation.
Yep.
Okay.
Refactor kubelet driver registration, just to be clear.
Kubelet.
We can call it a.
Make this a.
Yeah. Okay. So the refactor work.
All right. This is the automatic release process stuff for CSI sidecars. This one is provisioning, doing a capacity reporting for topology. I put this one as a P3.
Okay.
And this is required to support local volume dynamic provisioning.
Yeah.
There's a subpath expansion stuff. It's a pretty small change. It's actually almost done, but I put it as a P3 anyway.
Okay.
And then there are some post-GA in-tree topology tasks that I'm keeping track of. I also put it as a P3. It's not super urgent.
All right. That looks good to me.
All right. Let me sort this thing again. Is this going to fail if I sort it like this?
Possibly. I think there's a way to make these header fields more advanced. I forgot how to do it. I think it's a pivot table, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, you could do it the same way you did it before.
Yeah. Let's just do this. Oops. Undo. All right. Sort by C. Okay.
All right, that looks good.
All right.
We have 9 P1s. All right, cool. All right, I think that's all I had.
Sounds good. We'll sync up again tomorrow then.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, thank you, everyone.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.